you. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Ranjit Narula.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm Atik Ramwan.
And I'm Lavin Suresh.
And our app is called Whale Watchers, and it's a new approach to saving the threatened whale population worldwide.
So a couple months ago, I went on a ferry to the San Juan Islands, and there's usually plenty of people spotting whales on the way, but this time I noticed that there was virtually nobody. So I asked around, and I found out that the reason for this is actually because the whale populations are declining. So we decided to look into it, and through a documentary called Seaspiracy, we learned that boat engines interfere with whales' echolocation, which is required for them to hunt, communicate, and navigate underwater. Additionally, whales are often hit by boats, which causes them severe injury or sometimes even death. And although there's a number of ways to solve this issue, they can take several years to implement because you would solve it using laws. So at the same time, whale populations would continue to decline. Our initial goal was to minimize interactions between humans and whales. So originally, we brainstormed many different app concepts, like an app to help law enforcement or conservationists by having anyone download the app and report whales. However, we realized that not everyone is this invested in saving whales, so we chose to focus attracting whale watchers who are invested. Whale watchers care about whale conservation, contribute very little to noise pollution, and obviously they can report accurate sightings, so it makes them the perfect target audience.
We eventually finalized our current version of the app, which solves our problem by doing two things. One, it lowers noise pollution without requiring infrastructure change. And two, it prevents collisions between boats and whales. Now, our app has 4 main pages. The first page is the sign-up page, which is the first image on the right. The next and most important page is the map page. In this page, users can log and view whale sightings. Whales are marked with a blue dot with a sonar range around them. If there are consistently multiple sightings in one area, then a red hotspot is displayed on the map, and they are shown on a monthly or yearly basis. Every whale has a different hearing range, so we've stored these different ranges in a Firebase database. Now, the third page is the whale classification page, which helps the user correctly identify the type of whale when they are reporting a sighting. And lastly, there is a report violation page, where users can report any illegal activities, such as poaching or trespassing in no-go zones, to the appropriate authorities.
We planned out all the app's pages and features on a shared Google document. In order to make sure we were on a good pace, we used Discord and a shared calendar, as well as calling regularly and checking in with each other on our tasks. We picked Codular as our IDE because of its powerful and collaborative abilities. We constantly tested the apps on our phones by exporting the file as an APK and having Whale Watchers and Puget Sound, a local whale watching site in our state, test the app and provide feedback. This allowed us to identify crucial bugs that needed to be fixed, and we managed to debug most of these issues, and a usable copy of the app was produced.
With regards to market potential, the cost of developing and distributing the app is $0. The user market consists of technologically literate whale watchers and boat captains. In the US, this accounts for 8.9 million whale watchers and 44,100 captains. As for the value proposition, this app is free for anyone who has access to a smartphone. And the app provides users with a sense of altruism and duty because it allows them to directly contribute to saving the whale population. Additionally, whale watchers need whales for them to watch, so they're further incentivized to use the app.
There are currently 5 similar apps on the market listed below. Our competitors have semi-working apps which often crash, look visually outdated, or cost money. These apps are also focused on collisions, whereas ours is based on sonar and audible range. Whales are crucial because they contribute to biodiversity, are a keystone species, supply 50% of marine oxygen, and combat climate change. As a result, this app is most valuable for marine wildlife conservationists, frequent boaters, and ocean goers who care about their environmental impact. Thank you, and we hope you choose to save the whales too. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you for the team's wonderful presentation. And now let's move to the question part. Okay. So, Chick, would you please ask for the first question? Thank you.
Certainly. What do you have? Is there a URL or is there a name that you've trademarked for this app?
Well, currently we haven't trademarked anything, but we are in the process of getting a provisional patent for the app.
Okay.
To add on to that, sorry, we're also planning on publishing this in the App Store in the future.
Okay. And what is the name? What is the name that I would recognize?
You would basically search for whale watchers in the App Store.
Okay. That's it. Good. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Very impressive. Thank you. And Celeste, may I invite you for next question?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Ting. Hello to the team. Very impressive research that you've done. Can I ask a simple question? What made you come up with the idea? You identified that there are other apps on the market already, but that yours differs. What made you think of, no, we've got to do something better?
Well, originally, we actually didn't know about the other apps that currently existed. We had identified the problem because Atik had experienced it firsthand. And after doing research, we found that there were apps that did somewhat similar jobs. But after looking at the user reviews, we found that there were a lot of bugs and that they weren't actually doing what they were set out to do. So we wanted to create an app that actually solved the problem once and for all and did a better job than the previous competitive apps.
To add on to what Ranjit said, a lot of times, especially in preserving the ecosystem and the environment, a lot of people don't realize like the small issues that happen. So although boats can obviously hit whales, which is what all the apps address, no one really addressed the issue that the sound from the boats can actually damage whales. So we want to spread awareness on that and also solve it at the same time.
Okay, thank you for that. My last question is a bit depressing. You know, we get good guys and the bad guys. How would you suggest that the bad guys would not use this to identify your pod and then to go whale fishing?
So this was actually a problem that the other apps had. And so a few things that we put it in some safeguards. So the first thing would be the violation button. Basically, if a user saw that other users were doing this, they could report it as a violation. Also, whenever you report a whale, it happens you can see the location because it's marked on the map. And there are certain laws. So for example, in our state, there are no-go zones, or there are only certain times of the year when whale watching is actually allowed. So this app could sort of be used as a check for those types of people. Also, we wanted to prevent people from inflating the numbers. So in order to actually report, you actually have to be on the ocean, which is a sort of like a way to prevent false positives.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay,
Thank you, Ting.
Thank you, Celeste.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I just want to ask, is there any way, are you tying in with any nonprofits? Is there any partnership there? It seems like that could be a win-win.
Well, actually, previously we were working on a second version of the app for a government organization that works in our state. It's called the Department of Fish and Wildlife in Washington State. And essentially, we would create an app specifically for our state, and then we would give it to them, and they would promote it on their website and throughout their organization. So we were working on that. In the future, we also want to partner with NOAA, which is the National Organization for Aquatic Animals, I believe. Yeah, so that's basically, we want to make a bunch of partnerships in order to promote the app and provide accessibility.
Great.
But yeah, I just want to confirm on that, like, currently we aren't partnered with the nonprofit, but there are like certain steps and nonprofits and government sites, and I guess organizations that we're looking into, which could definitely be of use in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. And since we don't have too much time left, and I just want to invite Pallavi for one quick question or one comment. Thank you.
Actually, this is very impressive. I interest very much. How does it address the pain?
I'm sorry, how does it address the what? Could you repeat your question, please?
Yes. How does it address the pain? How does it address the problem?
Oh, yeah. So basically, it allows us to crowdsource whale watchers. So essentially, users would report whale sightings, and then those sightings can be looked at on the same map by boat captains. So when they're planning their route or when they're on the ocean, they can reroute in order to avoid causing noise pollution or hitting whales.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.